Good morning, I'm Cody Henriksen, and today we're going to be talking about how we can enhance a pop-up to support secure inputs. We can do some really cool Java projects, and especially allow for things like customizing our inputs so we can talk to maybe a database or some other secure information site. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we have our basic pop-up class we worked with in the past where we're using a way to have an object-oriented wrapper class around the JOptionPane static method series, so we can have some approaches with that, but we're using it in a more object-oriented way, so we can have a pop-up instance. We can say, for example, call it the view, and we can then say, oh, view, display this message, view, ask this question, view, do secure input. And so we can use it in a more object-oriented way, so we can access and retain information and send it across our entire project. So we can use it in a more integrated fashion, rather than simply just having JOptionPane show message dialog, blah, 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 blah. So again, it's a wrapper class around JOptionPane, so you can do some cool stuff with that. And one of the other things that's really nice about using the customization of this, so we can have right there, is we can have all the information put together right away. So it integrates directly with our user interface, so we have it like the same look and feel across our entire project. So we do some really cool stuff with that. And we'll give a quick demo on that at the end of this as well. So when we're talking about secure input, we need to actually prevent other users, including the one who's actually typing the machine, from seeing information that's sent to the program. We want to hide passwords. We don't want to share that information with just everyone on screen. And so if we're using a regular pop-up class or a text box or anything like that, the information we type in the screen or type on the keyboard is going to be displayed publicly so everyone can see it. And that is a problem when we're talking about security and privacy, because we want to make sure we don't give bad information or share over information about with that. So we want to make sure we have some way of hiding that from the user. From the public, and we do that with using what's called the JPassword field. And it's like a JText field, it's just a little bit better than that. And so what we do is we add a JPassword field object to the JOptionPane instance we're working with. We then display a custom dialog type, so we can ask that information. We have it with an OK, yes, or cancel. So we can say, hey, OK or cancel, it's like, which one are we going to do? And so it's asking a question as to what kind of pop-up we're working with. We then extract the data out of the field based on the confirmation status. We don't extract it if they do the wrong thing, and then we return that password as a string so it can be supplied to other parts of the program and used appropriately. So let's go ahead and take a look at the code that makes that happen. So here we have the basic version of that method. So it's a secure input method, takes a string parameter, returns a string as a return type. We set our string result to be nothing. We create that instance of a JPassword field called input field in this case. It's a new JPassword field, and it says all input will be masked and it's 40 characters wide. Now what that all input will be masked, it's not going to show anything. It's just going to be a bunch of dots that's going to show across the screen for that. If we wanted to actually have another symbol, we can use any character. So a char type, not emojis, but just char type, and replace it with those fields. By default, though, it's just those cute little dots you're used to on a password field. We then set an int variable. I named it not cancel because I don't want to ever collect it if it's not okay, because I only want to correctly extract the information when I get the password from this. And I set that variable to be JOptionPane.showConfirm dialog. I pass it then null for the owner of the window, the input field, that JPassword field I just created, the message I'm asking to go inside that on the top of the title bar right there, and then JOptionPane.okCancel option as this type of message I'm looking for. If I return back, if the actual execution gives me back an OK, I click the OK button after typing in a password, then I'm going to go through and extract the data out of the input field using the getPassword method. The getPassword method returns a char array. Now, we don't normally use chars in my class, but a char is kind of like the component pieces of that. It only allows for specifically Unicode char values to go inside that, so it's only one char letter wide. And then I combine those values from the char array into a string by using the plus equals combined operator. And then at that point, if they typed in anything else, if they typed the cancel button or press the X in the top corner so they could get out of that window, I'm going to have a display message using my other method that's inside my pop-up class to say, hey, you've chosen poorly. I don't want to actually use this. And then set result to be not a password, which would not be, of course, enter into the correct data that we're working for. And then return that result variable at that point. So either have the actual password typed in, what the user thinks is the password, or I type in not a password, which is definitely not what we want to have. We can also do a customized version of this. We can have a more cool look and feel. It's the same basic approach. The difference is on the method right here where I have say JOptionPane.showConfirm dialog, instead of having a null as a parameter, I first pass a parameter to the frame, the window that's holding the information. Then I have a parameter for the input field, of course the JPassword field we're working with, the title of the window, secure input, and then the type of question we're looking for, the type of JOptionPane I'm working for, yes, okay, cancel, and what kind of message am I looking for, a question message. And then finally, the last parameter, I pass it an icon that can display the icon that goes along with the actual application itself. The logic of the method itself is the same, where I iterate over the string, where I iterate over the char array, extracting out each individual part of the password and storing it as the string they'll be working with. And if I choose the wrong result, then I get out of the display message saying you've chosen poorly. Again, a nice little reference to that amazing Indiana Jones movie that was so cool to watch. And then return that result back from there. And so that's how it can work. To see what it looks like on the screen, you can see right here my cute little OctoKitty with a skateboard is the custom icon I can have instead of the regular Java little exclamation point or X that automatically shows by the OK cancel that we show for that. And so I can have a nice little custom approach to make that happen across there. As you can see, the masked characters show up in there as just a series of dots rather than giving actual information to the user. So you want to make sure that your title of your window properly explains what should be happening inside that pop-up. And then I hit OK, it processes the information and returns on the rest of the program. Now we can enhance the security on these when we're doing something instead of a pop-up, because when I'm using a pop-up, that instance goes away as soon as we're done right there. So that instance of the pop-up window, I don't really have access to the data attached to that. But when you're using this in a more static-oriented way, where it's like, say, for example, inside like a panel or some other component piece, what you want to do is you want to make sure you zero out the contents of the array after each extraction. So you extract the letter, then reset that to 0 or integer.min value or some other value that would really not be helpful for a password to store inside each of those different points of the char array. You then want to nullify the password field after the instance of the extraction. So it's like there's no way you can possibly reference it at all. You can even remove it from the display and do even more beyond that. But that's the basic way you can have an enhanced pop-up and do some really cool stuff with that. Take a look at the database video to see this in action and keep on going and doing new cool things and working with Java. Thanks again and have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye.